Hello, and in today's video we are doing an FPL preview for game week number 6 of the 2022 to 23 FPL season. That's right, we're going to go through my game week 6 team, previewing all the fixtures, looking at our transfers ahead of the coming game week, and also looking at the current FPL Yellow Army's Loyal Legion mini league. And also we'll be reviewing our Game Week 5 scores. We'll be looking at the Manager of the Month for August. And we'll also be looking at my transfers for this game week. So before we continue, smash a like on the video. Comment down in the live chat what are your current transfers for this game week. And who, most importantly, is going to be your captain. Will it be Erling Harland against Aston Villa? Or will it be Mohamed Salah in the early kickoff in the Merseyside derby? Well, let's get into it then. I've seen a lot of people making changes. I've even seen some people pop in the wild card. And for me, the wild card just wasn't worth it this week. It looks okay, but there'd only be about 3 or 4 players I'd be changing. And I want to get to a stage where the FPL narratives have changed enough for me to warrant that wild card. And I like Game Week 9. That's a really nice spot for me because it's a nice international break, so it just makes sense. And I don't think there's any need to wildcard because I've got a good team at the moment. So it's doing well. I got a green arrow this week. And let's, before we do anything else, talk about how we did get that green arrow. So Game Week 5 review. So to update you, if you didn't already see my Game Week 5 preview, I made just the 2 transfers, just the 2, yeah. And they didn't exactly go to plan, to put it lightly. So we did Kulusevski, we kept Kulusevski. We did Saliba in for Robertson. And we did, Rodrigo in for Reed, because we wanted a different formation and we knew that Reece James was a doubt. So we thought we need someone on our bench to come in. And this allowed Andreas to be our first bench rather than Nico Williams, which was a very good play, considering Nico Williams scored himself -1 points away to Man City. So we did very well in the end, but the actual transfers themselves, I mean, we just wanted to upgrade that bench fodder. We wanted to play a bit more of a settled structure. So rather than having to start Nico and Andreas every week, it felt nicer to be in a position where you didn't have to start both of them. So I did read it out and Rodrigo in because I felt that Pascal Gross was an option away to Fulham. Some of those mid-price midfielders, they just weren't tickling my fancy, to be honest, and I just wasn't feeling the hype. But I also felt that Liverpool defensive double-up wasn't working. I didn't like the look of Robertson because even attacking, he's just not getting enough returns, and Liverpool defence has just not been getting clean sheets. And I was happy with that transfer, minutes into the Liverpool-Newcastle game when Isak gets his debut goal and, that clean sheet wipeout happens for Robertson. So, it was a good transfer. It's just a shame about that freak goal from Douglas Luiz, and we'll get onto that. And then, obviously, we all know what happened with Rodrigo, dislocated shoulder. I mean, that's just so unlucky because he actually looked really lively, had that chance before he got injured. But it was just one of those, I had it I think it was 2 seasons ago, I brought in Pedro Neto, in the gap, about game week 32 or 33 away to Fulham. And about 32 minutes in, he got injured and was injured for the rest of the season. It was one of those, it's not for the rest of the season, it's only 3 or 4 weeks, but, it's still such a blow to bring him in this game week ahead of a nice run of fixtures against Everton, Nottingham Forest, Brentford. There were some good fixtures there, to target, but it is what it is. We go again. But it's kind of nice in a way because I didn't probably have much to do this game week if it wasn't for that Rodrigo injury. So at least it's given me a bit of a, plan to make a transfer because I wanted to do a transfer this week. But at least now I've got someone to replace. Let's look at game week 5 and how it did. So 78 points, very happy with that. Smashed the average of 62 there. Fair play to the manager, Alan Kelly, because he triple captained Erling Harland for the hat-trick against Nottingham Forest, brought in Sancho. Who has Nathan Collins in their teams? But anyway, So it was a very, very fascinating week. It all hinged really on the captaincy. I say it all hinged, but us captaincy players that were on Mo Salah, we massively got away with it. I mean, I'll take that because it was a 7-point swing in the end. Sanchez, very disappointing. I mean, to be fair to him, he's been absolutely unbelievable in my team since Gameweek 1. Probably one of the best, or the best 4.5 goalie this season. And he's just got so many save points. He's done well for me. So it's not a surprise. You know, this Fulham team were very, very good. I did expect Fulham to score, but it's just that, you know, it's a shame to see them score 2, and that's a -1 on Sanchez's points. But, you know, at the end of the day, still very good going forward. Great fixtures for Brighton. And I'm thinking about wildcarding soon, but I don't think now is the time. And I think Sanchez, if I wildcarded, he would be the goalkeeper I'd wildcard into. So it's kind of like you have to just wait to see what happens with that. The rest of the team, though, we had Trent. Disappointing, I'm not going to lie. Trent is not as great as an asset as we know he can be so far this season. Maybe that's something to do with the Liverpool defence, but just even going forward, he's not offered the attacks that I thought he would. Obviously taken off on 70 minutes, so you know that's something to look at. But he's certainly getting in the positions. It's just I wonder whether his price is worth it really when it comes to around game week 9 when Liverpool have got trickier fixtures. Maybe, just maybe, that might be one we have to jump off. But it seems a bit knee-jerky. I think I'm going to just see how Trent does the next couple of games. William Saliba, as I say, the transfer in this week, I was banking on that clean sheet home to Aston Villa, but that Douglas Luiz goal, I mean, how many times does that happen? It's just generally so unlucky. You know, scoring from a corner, Ramsdale absolutely, I don't know what he was doing. He was in a mess with Kamara, but it was just not a good moment, really. Saliba also got booked. So yeah, not ideal at all. But I brought him in for the long term, really. I'm happy with Arsenal's defence for the long term. It's just unfortunate circumstances in this game. And, you know, I had to bring in Saliba, mainly just to do Saliba! Saliba! Had to sing that chant. It's a great chant. But anyway, the point is, he is going to be good going forward. He's such a great enabler. And it's in a good Arsenal defence. And, you know, this week is an interesting fixture against Manchester United. But going forward, I'm happy to have him. Joao Cancelo, 12-pointer. That is what we love from you, Joao. Just when I was starting to think, you know, you weren't really that good to own, you come up with a great worldy strike. I mean, what a goal. I mean, taken off, yeah, we should expect that with the Champions League on Tuesday, but at the same time, like, he is just so good going forward, and that's why he's been in my team all season. He's going to stay there, but what a great haul from Joao Cancelo. Really happy with him. Midfield-wise, Andreas Pereira came in off the bench for Reece James for that 6-pointer. Absolute hero. I mean, this guy's been, you know, the Dallas or the Livramento of last season. I know that sounds weird, but what I mean by that is, you know, often last season we had one player that was so reliable when you needed him to come off your bench. I say Livramento, he wasn't that reliable, but maybe like more of a, I'm trying to think who a Simicast or something. You know, those cheap players that came off the bench and got decent points. Andreas is that season, this season's version of that. So yeah, great assist for the own goal from Dunk. He looks really attacking in the game, and that's really encouraging. For a 4.5 million midfielder, he looks like an absolute bargain. So very happy for him to come in and get that return. Mo Salah, look, at the end of the day, was it a mistake in hindsight to not captain Erling Harland? Yes, but there was just enough doubt in my mind that he would get benched ahead of that Champions League and obviously Villa this weekend. I just felt that Nottingham Forest was a game that City could win without Haaland. Now, obviously, we know that Haaland's got great fitness. He's only young, but he's certainly chomping at the bit to keep scoring goals. But I looked at that game and thought, well, Alvarez could easily start. He did start, but he just started alongside Erling Haaland. And, you know, at the end of the day, Salah still is a great FPL option. You know, he won't turn terrible overnight. It's just that he's not becoming essential anymore, and he's not becoming the king of FPL this season. I mean, obviously, if you talk about all time, you probably still pick Mo Salah. I say all time, probably the last 6 or 7 seasons, but if you're referring to who's the new FPL king in town, who's the fresh player, the current player on current form, who's the new topic being talked about, it's Erling Harland for sure. And Harland is performing outscoring Mo Salah, but it's always that debate, isn't it? Who's going to score better, the midfielder or the forward? And when you think that Salah's nailed, but maybe playing in a team that's going to score less goals, it's quite a difficult decision to weigh up. But look, I'm very happy with that. 2 assists. Yes, the second assist was dubious, off the shoulder. It's just one of those things. We'll take it, but it's very lucky. However, to have made up that points difference, only 7 points swing in it, and obviously 14-point difference when you put into account the captaincy points, it's a very big result for us Salah captainers, so I can't complain at all. Martinelli, he keeps impressing. I mean, what a buy he was since Gameweek 1. He's been probably the best value midfielder in the game this season. I mean, how he's priced at 6 million at the start of the season, I really don't know, because he was fantastic last season. But yeah, fabulous game, and that's his best Gameweek score so far this season. He was really, really good, and to get those 3 bonuses is always really nice. And it's a great goal. The way he just arrived at the back post for that Saka cross. It was a great finish and a great way to end that Arsenal game. Rodrigo, I mean, that's just devastating. That is just absolutely devastating. Jordan Pickford, right? Sort yourself out. You've injured players in the past. You've injured Van Dijk. And now you've gone and injured Rodrigo. Just, why do you have to do this, Jordan? There's no need, okay? I know you're trying to stay up, Everton, and you're trying to, disadvantage all the teams around you. But come on, that's just not nice. I'm sure he didn't mean it, Pickford, but it's a very frustrating thing when a goalkeeper comes out of his box to try and tackle, and first of all, you shouldn't be doing that, but second of all, do it, with a bit of caution, because if you slide in, you can get yourself sent off. But he didn't slide in, he ended up tussling with him, doing an arm tussle, and then yanking his shoulder, so brilliant. Not ideal, but it is what it is, FPL luck sometimes is that way. We'll take it on the chin, and we'll get in a replacement for Rodrigo in this video. Kulusevski, look, at the end of the day, Dejan Kulusevski is still, in my opinion, the top 3 in the top 3 8 million options. The problem is that since game week 1, he's not really exploded. I mean, assist against Forest was nice. He does look good in games, and he's actually playing more minutes than I really expected. So ahead of a Champions League game at the week, in the midweek, I am a bit worried. But at the end of the day, people are saying Son probably gets dropped. So I don't know. I might just roll with Kulusevski for one more week. Even if he does well against Fulham, he probably will get the sack after that, because he's got a sticky fixture against Manchester City. So I'll probably not want him long term. And he was very good for me game week 1. He got me that differential rise with the 6.6% ownership, the 13-point haul. That ship might have sailed, to be honest. So let's see how he does. Fulham is still a good fixture. I mean, on paper it is, but Fulham have been really impressive, so it won't be easy. It's just that, you look at that fixture, you think it's a promoted team. Maybe Kulusevski can rip up the template a little bit. He's still very differential, something like 14% owned. So, if he hauls, then it's a big, big rise for us. The front 2, though, Erling Harland, what a player. Oh, I just didn't have the bottle to captain him, because I just heard so many rumours of him being rotated, and just shows that he can score, he can play back-to-back games, he can get back-to-back hat-tricks. The $1 million question now is, what do we do for game week 6 away to Aston Villa ahead of that Sevilla game? It's very difficult to start him, but it's also very difficult to not as captain. So obviously he's going to play regardless in my team. It's just whether we put the armband on him. Ultimately, though, he was unbelievable against Forest. And it's just a real shame to have missed out on the hat-tricks both weeks from Erling Harland against Palace and Forest. So will a third hat-trick, a hat-trick of hat-tricks come this weekend? We will have to wait and see. Gabriel Jesus, I mean, what a great own he has been. And I just don't see myself selling him in the next couple of game weeks because, he has been great value. Harry Kane has been doing well as well, but it's just so hard to fit in both of them, Erling Harland and Harry Kane, and not, massively reduce the rest of your team. I mean, I suppose I could downgrade Kulusevski, but do I really want to be dropping Jesus at this point? No, sirree. So Jesus is a good own. I mean, hopefully a few more explosive returns. He's only really done a lot of points against Leicester, but, he's ticking along nicely. We can't complain. And with his high ownership, it just makes sense to keep him. But then looking at the bench, Danny Ward, obviously, glad I benched him this week because, yes, all right, you'd say Sanchez got less, but come on. Danny Ward was dreadful in that Manchester United game. Look, he is ultimately in a team that's falling down right now. Leicester are in a bit of a trouble right now. And Sanchez going forward is going to be so much better to start every week. So I'm happy to just bench this guy because he's just not very good. Reece James, as I say, was ill for that Southampton game. Did miss the match. But as I say, really happy with that Andreas substitute. And really happy to see that Reece James is back and fit for game week 6, as we expected. That's why I didn't transfer him out, and I'm glad I didn't. It was a good move in the end. So really, really happy to have him, especially with Fofana coming back. Coming at Chelsea. Now they've got a centre-back so he can play right wing-back. So it looks really appetising for us Reece James owners. And he's just dropped in price as well. So, if you want to go for him, why not? He certainly looks, one of those must-own players. And for 6 million, he's a bargain. Nico Williams, -1. Glad I didn't play him. Very, very glad. Never really thought about it. Away to City, you never know how many City can get in the goals. But that was really evident. -1 points for 6 conceded. Really, really glad I didn't play him. And then Cameron Archer sitting on the bench. So yeah, that's my game week 5. I'm very happy with that, to be honest. It was a game week that I was really happy with. So just looking at what that did for our overall rank. So last week we were at an overall rank of 306k. So that's a nice green arrow up to 209,318. Game week rank, as you see there, 1.7 million and 350 points overall. So, we're climbing. And that was the first time actually that we got, less than 2 points on our bench because, previously we've had 11 pointers on our bench before, and that's not been the best scenario. But, no regrets this game week, that's for sure. Okay, let's move on then to game week 6, looking at our team selection, and then we will get into the other juicy bits like the league and all that stuff. Actually, no, I'll do that first. So, game week 5 covered off. Let's look at the FPL Yellow Army mini league then. So, how is it looking ahead of game week 6? You know it, it's Botman and Ruben top again. And that means that Botman and Ruben, you are the FPL Yellow Army's Loyal Legion August Manager of the Month. Well done, James. Really impressive month for you. Odegaard obviously currently injured, which is not ideal, but captained Harland last week. That was big. You also had, a very nice game week score last week as well. 80 points. Robertson with a nice return like I got as well. And Odegaard, that was huge. So, yeah, it's been a good start to the season for you. Really, really strong. Trippier as well has done well for you. And you've got Alma on there, interestingly benched against Man City. But very decent game week for you. 90 points and very, very good overall rank. Look at that. 4,156. That is a fantastic start to the season. So, pat on the back for that. 384 overall points. But then just generally looking at the rest of the mini league and seeing how it's getting on. We've got Chris in second. We've got Thomas in third. And Henrik in fourth. So, yeah, very interesting stuff. I'm down in 10th. Don't mind that, to be fair. It's not too bad. But who is absolutely at the bottom? We did that review of Game Week 3. And we kind of previewed Game Week 3 by looking at the Game Week 4 and Game Week 3. We looked at the Twitter post that I did where I kind of calculated the Division 1 and Division 2. We won't do that often across the season. It's just like a general, sometimes we'll update it, but you can look back at that to see roughly what it's looking like. But in terms of the FPL sites, bottom player, it's Casper, I'm afraid. 188 overall points. It's not looking good for you, Casper. At this point, it looks like a relegation, but who knows? We will see. Okay, now that we've done that, let's look at it then, shall we? It's time to preview Game Week 6. So, this is the team for Game Week 6. Deadline, 11 o'clock today. Let's get amongst it. So, goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez at home to Leicester. I'm liking this fixture because Leicester this season have been very, very poor. You look at upcoming fixtures for Brighton, they're looking very tasty. So, I really can't complain with that. I honestly feel that Robert Sanchez is just dynamite because he gets so many save points. Leicester are going to be desperate to get a goal, and Brighton have been one of the best defences so far this season. So I'm really happy for that fixture, but also for upcoming fixtures as well. And, Leicester have just really struggled to score goals. So I think that's a favourable fixture for the clean sheet and hopefully some save points alongside that. He's just in great form, Robert Sanchez, and, really happy with how that goalkeeper pick has panned out. So he'll be playing on Sunday. Hopefully he gets the clean sheet there. The back four, though, we've gone for the premium back four. No, I'm only joking. Not the premium back four. But we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold first up. Away to Everton. Merseyside derby. He's going to be up for it. And hopefully he's going to get the attacking returns. We all know he can. 7.5 million is a lot for a defender. But at the end of the day, previous seasons have showed he will repay that. So I think he just has to get a few more free kicks or corners or set piece assists or something like that, and then everyone will be calm on Trent. I mean, I'm still calm on him. He only got a 17-pointer a couple of weeks ago, but, he needs to be a bit more consistent. Reece James, West Ham at home is a great fixture. West Ham have really struggled for goals. Jared Bowen is not looking the same this season, as is Mikel Antonio. So maybe a clean sheet. I'm not really holding out much hope, though, because Chelsea defensively have been really poor, but the reason we have Reece James is always obvious, the attacking threat. And now that he can be in that right-wing position with Fofana coming in, it's looking really tasty. So he's actually quite differential compared to previous game weeks. A lot of people have sold him. Don't know why, because those two fixtures look nice. Fulham as well coming up. Really, really tasty for Reece James. So a couple of London derbies to get yourself, very, very excited about Reece James. And certainly one that I won't want to go without. Nico Williams comes in, yes, believe it or not, for the first time this season, we're starting Nico Williams. It's a bit of a mad one, I can't lie. We actually are starting Nico Williams. We benched him against West Ham, typical. I say for the first time, we did actually start him against Everton, but, he got the 1-pointer. So it's a bit like owning Livramento last season. Whenever I had him, I had Norwich at home, start 1 point. When I had, Leicester away, bench 6 points or 7 points or an assist or a goal. I remember he had Chelsea away and he got a goal. So, Nico, please don't be that guy that only scores points when you bench them. So, Nico Williams, -1 last week, but he's got plenty of encouraging things to bounce back from that. He's top for expected goal involvement for defenders. For such a cheap price, he's got a nice fixture against Bournemouth. I'm not holding out for a clean sheet, though, to be honest, because Forest have been leaky defensively, but Bournemouth are equally leaky at the back. So hopefully some attacking returns for Nico, and he can follow in the footsteps, hopefully, of legends like Lord Lundstrom, who actually returned in this fixture with a 2-1 win, got a goal, 7-pointer, very, very nice. Joao Cancelo, away to Aston Villa. For me, this is a fixture I can really see Cancelo returning in because Villa have been so weak defensively and City, they've defensively looked a little bit shaky. That's why I've not gone with a double City defence, but Cancelo is so good for his attacking returns, so certainly going to be a very exciting one. I don't think he's going to be benched. I mean, you saw Kevin De Bruyne get benched last week ahead of the game against Forest, so yes, okay, they've got Sevilla, but I don't think Cancelo is droppable at this point. He's just too good. Midfield, though, let's look at it. Rodrigo is still there. I know he's going to get replaced, but it's about who I do it for. Mohamed Salah, vice captaincy against Everton. Now, you might say, why wouldn't you just go with the captaincy? It's, Mo Salah, for goodness sake. We know he's good, and he's got a great record against Everton, and Everton are terrible defensively. Yes, I agree with that, but come on, it's the early kickoff. Salah's not been that impressive this season. I mean, yes, he's got returns. Yes, he's Mo Salah. He's not going to turn into a bad player overnight. But 30 million is a lot of money to live up to. And right now, is he absolutely living up to that price tag? Not quite. Not quite for me. So I wouldn't be ballsy enough to go without him. But at the same time, I'm conscious of his lack of performing right now. So let's see how he does against Everton. But I'm just not quite sure. Martinelli, Man United, good fixture in my eyes. I mean, an Arsenal defender this week might be a tricky one. I predict United will score because they've looked improved in the last few weeks. But defensively, I don't think they're that much better. Manchester United, so Martinelli could easily get on the score sheet once again. He's just been such a gem to own. Kulusevski, at the start of the week, I had Kulusevski as captain. Now, whether I'll regret changing that or not, I don't know. But for me, Fulham is not as easy a fixture as I kind of first considered. They are a great team, Fulham. Yes, it's at home, and yes, Kulusevski's been quite good. But is he that sort of player you can rely on a big haul for a captaincy? Probably not. He'll probably tick along with a couple of assists, and that's good for differential points and rank gain. But I just don't think I can captain him, really. Spurs, they weren't great against West Ham, I can't lie. But let's see if they're better this week. And it might be a final hurrah for Kulusevski, but great fixture on paper. It's just that Fulham this season have been better than we all expected, really. Front two, though, Erling Harland and Gabriel Jesus. Now, honestly, I've changed between Salah and Haaland captaincy about 50 million times this week because there's so little in it. Especially, when you think about Erling Haaland, there is a chance he's benched, right? And I'm going to take it on the chin if he is. And if he comes on for a 15-pointer and gets a 1-pointer and does nothing, then hey-ho. But it's got to the point now where I'm so sorry, Erling, for not captaining you and not trusting you, that it feels like an absolute abuse of Erling Harland to not captain him this week. I've learnt twice that Salah is not as good as Erling Harland for captaincy, and would I really go against that again? Okay, it's really tough, difficult, but with Erling Harland, he's still young. Pep's comments on Friday were very interesting about how he's 22, and if he was 32, he would be a problem, but because he's at that age, he's okay, and I just think, surely he doesn't get dropped. He's super good. And yes, okay, you can have Alvarez playing, but it's not Erling Haaland. He gives you something different. And maybe we might have to take the L of like a 60-minute appearance, right? He gets subbed off early. I don't mind that, because 60 minutes is enough for another hat-trick. He only got a hat-trick in 20 minutes, so just don't doubt the robot, the machine that is Erling Haaland. But yeah, it's very tempting to switch back to Salah because of the expected minutes. We know Salah's going to play, but at the end of the day, he's not as good this season. And let's imagine that Erling Haaland does get benched. The chances are, even if he comes on, he might return, because that Villa defence is terrible. Everton's, I hear you, is also terrible, but Liverpool, I'm not convinced right now. I think they only scrape past that Everton team, whereas I could see City being very, very clinical against Villa. Then Jesus, Man United, as I say, with Martinelli, good fixture, liking that game. And I honestly feel Jesus is going to cause Lisandro Martinez a lot of issues. Defensively, bench-wise, I should say, we've got Ward on the bench. Come on, you've got to back Sanchez. He's much the better goalkeeper. And then Saliba, yeah, okay, not the most ideal transfer in last week, but we roll with him. We keep going with him. Coming up, he's got nice fixtures against Everton and Brentford. That will be, hopefully, some attacking returns. Hopefully, clean sheets banked in. Look, at the end of the day, he was a short-term transfer in. I was just kind of seeing what would happen there. But it's one fixture that I'm not willing to play him in. I think it's very sensible to bench your Arsenal defenders this week. And if I had Gabriel, I would be more scared about benching him because he's got attacking threat. Saliba's not as much. And because he's cheap, he's just benchable. So I'm happy to bench him. Certainly, I feel like Rodrigo replacement is worth playing over Saliba. And I'm not going to bench Nico with that great fixture. So it just makes sense for me. Andreas, also second bench, a great bench option, as we saw last week, but a tough fixture this week against Spurs, so he stays there. And then Archer against City. No chance. So yeah, that is my Game Week 6 team. Not quite locked in. Let's make the transfer. We've got roughly half an hour to go until deadline. So, here it is. Point 2 in the bank. Rodrigo is gone. And I hear you people saying, Pascal Gross. You're going to have egg on your face if you don't get Pascal Gross. And I can see it now. Against Leicester, he'll get a return. And I'll regret it. But FPL is about having fun at the end of the day. And I get that if I don't bring in Gross and he returns, it won't be very fun. But I could get even more fun if I bring in a differential who gets more than Pascal Gross. Now, are there any players like that who I think will do that? Maybe, maybe not. But the problem is, there is not a lot of choice around this midfield bracket. So I've looked at Eze, I've looked at Trossard, Ward-Prowse, McAllister, Lingard maybe, but I'm not convinced about Forest. Even with the fixtures, they could rotate a lot of their players. Somerville, no, because he doesn't even start. Rashford is very tempting, I can't lie. But it's just a shame he's got Arsenal this week, you know? He's returning well, good fixture in game week 8. I'm very tempted by Marcus Rashford, but it's just that Arsenal fixture that puts me off. I can't really go for it when I think Arsenal probably will score, and I can probably see not much for Rashford in that game. I mean, I say that. He did score in his debut against Arsenal all the way back in 15-16, but it's not going to happen again. I'm not convinced. So therefore, who are we going for in midfield? I think it's probably a Leeds player. As knee-jerky as that is, based on last week and how good they looked against Everton, and as sideways as that is because I had Rodrigo, and you might think, oh, go for someone else, go for a Brighton. Now, on paper, Brighton's fixtures are the best of anyone, right? I love those fixtures, especially if I think about wildcarding in Game Week 9, because you've got Liverpool in Game Week 9, perfect time to take them out. Leicester, Bournemouth, Palace. Those are some juicy fixtures. I mean, Palace, I say juicy, Palace is quite tough, especially when you think about the fact that, you know, they're quite good in that derby. But I think Brighton are certainly tempting. But come on, it's Pascal Gross. Now, I know a lot of people have got him, and if he scores, it'll punish me. But I just can't be convinced by Pascal Gross. I don't think it's sustainable. He's not been an FPL asset for season upon season. Yes, he's got a couple of returns against United, and he got an assist against West Ham, and he got a goal against Leeds. But come on, he's not going to do it again. I just don't think. And even if he does, right, I prefer bringing in someone that's a bit more differential. Like, it's so boring to do one transfer and bring in a 25% owned player that everyone's got anyway. So, Pascal Gross, you are gross to me. You say it in the name, it's a giveaway. And I don't think he's going to do anything this week. That's just my prediction. I could be wrong. Instead, we're going for a juicy differential to get me up the ranks. And it's, for me, a Leeds player. So, is it Harrison or Aronson? It's pretty much the same name, so at this point, what's the difference? We're going for Jack Harrison. I just feel he's more explosive than Harrison. Now, Aronson is interesting. Obviously, scored that goal against Chelsea from the Mendy mistake. But I feel like Harrison is more nailed. You look at that game against Everton, Aronson got subbed off early, as did the new signing, obviously, Sinistera. So, although Harrison's more of an assister, I think he can score. He did it in the game last season away to Brentford, and I think he'll do it again. Now, the only possible issue you'd say is, well, Leeds fixtures is not as good, because you'd probably want Harrison against Manchester United, but I could easily bench him. I've got options in game week 8. I mean, I think I've got Nico Williams playing Fulham, so, you know, I don't have to play him every week. Obviously, it's, you know, a short term if I'm going to wildcard in a few game weeks, but I think Harrison is the man. I think a lot of people are ignoring him, and at under 6.3, under 6.6% owned, it could be the next Kulusevski. He's in a white shirt, and he's playing a decent team. I mean, Brentford this week is actually not as easy as people think, but if you saw how Brentford have been the last couple of weeks defensively, certainly against Everton, they were quite poor. So I think Harrison does the business. Differential, I like it a lot. Leeds, I bought in Rodrigo because of the fixtures, and I'm not going to be convinced otherwise. Now, ultimately, Leeds, yes, they could score less without Rodrigo, but I don't know. I'm not convinced by Brighton's players. I mean, Trossard, perhaps, but a lot of people are just like, Trossard, mate, you're a troll. You just know Trossard is a troll. So I honestly feel it's between Harrison or Aronson. But which one it is a tricky one. It really is. It really, really is. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's go for Aronson. Go on. Push the boat out. At the end of the day, he's 5.5. So it saves me a nice bit of money as well. Come on, Aronson. You've got to deliver. Come on. Got a return last week as well, actually. So, I like it. It's differential. It's saucy. He's going to score. I'm sure of it. How has he not scored yet? Apart from that fluke goal. I think this is his time. 1.1 million in the bank. Then I could, upgrade in future game weeks. That is just so tempting. And if in need, bench in game week 8. Oh, Aronson, mate. USA, do not let me down. It's locked in. I can't believe I've just done that. Wow. Aronson, that is a differential and a half. But I feel he is going to haul big time. Capital A for Aaronson. Let's do this. That's my team for game week number 6. Locked in. 1 free transfer. It's Rodrigo to Aaronson. Had a bit of a dilemma there, but we've decided eventually. Thanks for watching my game week preview. Captaincy is tough. It's tough, but I think I'm going to go Erling Harland. I'm going to grow a pair of cojones this week and captain Erling. As much as it will probably fall down and break me and absolutely destroy me, I just think I have to. Kulu, mate, I have to get some hauls from you, please. So Kulu and Aaronson, the 2 men in white with good fixtures against Brentford and Fulham respectively, 2 London clubs. London's calling to the faraway town, and Haaland's captain. Let's get some points. See you next time. Bye-bye.